dear friends. Today is the 17th of June, year 2011, and we are on the second day of the retreat. This afternoon, we are already talking about the four kinds of retreatment, the application of that into our daily life for this lifetime and for the future. When we have more time, we will discuss deeper about this application. So this afternoon, we will continue to go to the benefit of exercise and what kind of exercise you should select for your condition. Some people think if we have a movement, we walk the whole day, that's supposed to be more than enough. We don't need to do exercise. Other people say, if I'm not exercise, I play football or basketball or sport, whatever, that is more than enough. Actually, that's not really true, because when we walk, all of the extremity, the organ, and the energy channel, it may not be clear evenly, it not be stimulated correctly. For example, when we play sport, it's not usually very healthy for our body, because usually we play sport not only for the physical stress, but we have mentally stress, because we usually have a team and we play not only for pleasure, but we play at the game. So when we are in game, everyone wants to be the winner. So sometimes we overstress our body. If we have a game, but we don't have any winner, like in Asia, we have some game for the whole community or the whole group, but everyone can play maximum and they rotate the role. So no one can be the leader and no one can be the winner, no one can be the loser. So in that situation, that sport considered a good exercise. Otherwise, when we play sport, we usually have a very stressful on our nerve, on our muscle, because sometimes, or most of the time, we overstress our body. That's why you see most of the athletes, they're not really long lasting. After a few years, maximum 10 or 15 years, they're going down here right away. Lift weight, football, basketball, tennis, whatever, they cannot maintain that forever, because they stress their body too much. And exercise, on the other hand, it will help to relax our muscle, to stimulate the production, the clearance of every single cell, as well as the whole energy channel in our body. And then it also helps the blood circulate faster, evenly, and go to all of the extremity, from the internal to externally. It releases the tension of the single muscle, the tendon, the joint, and the bone. So exercise, it will help the cell, the muscle, and the tendon, the cartilage, be more fluent. The lymphatic system can go to every single corner, every single cell of the body. It helps to clear up any obstacle, to get rid of any infection or any abnormal cell. So that's why we need to exercise oftenly as a way of bring nutrition, oxygen to our cell, our organ, as well as help our body and our cell to clear or to eliminate toxin built up by itself through the metabolism process. So it has many different types of exercise. So we have to depend on our condition and depend on our goal. For example, for an elderly, when we have arthritis, we have a spinal disorder, we may not do lifting weight, running marathon, gymnastics, but at least we can do stretching, we can do tai chi, we can do running or jumping on the trampoline, or glide up on the stair. Minimum, we can do walking for long distance. And then depend on your goal. If someone wants to have a little bit extra muscle, we can do lift weight at the whole body, not just for the arm only. When someone wants to build up the muscle for the belly, for the thigh, we can do the hiking, we can do the bicycling. When we want to have the flexible of all of the joint, tendon, and muscle, we can do the running, jogging. When we just want to have the energy channel be clear, the heat to flow fluently throughout the body, we can do Tai Chi. Yeah. So depend on the body condition, depend on our goal, depend on our age, we can select appropriate type of exercise, but we need to doing that on the daily basis, minimum 30 minutes twice a day, 5 days per week. And if you are not exercise oftenly, first you need to do walking and then teaching like the warming up exercise this morning, and after that you can learn how to climb up on the stair, because if we do walking an hour at the speed of 4 or 5 kilometers per hour, it still not have a much benefit compared to 15 minutes you climb up stair and you go down, because of the pressure, the earth gravity will change, and also the range of movement of all your joint and your tendon, it will go almost maximum. When you do the walking, even though very long distance, long time, but your joint is not moving much. But when you climb up to the stair, your knee, your hip, and your wrist, okay, it move, the range of movement is wider, and the tendon is more flexible. And also by changing the height, the pressure of the earth gravity, it helps to strengthen your heart. One of the problems, and we usually have the wrong perception, because for the one who not practice exercise oftenly, especially for the people have arthritis or any joint tendon disorder, when we first exercise, we feel very pain and we worry, and then okay, we stop doing that, and the longer we are not exercise, the worse condition we have. And when we start to hear about the benefit of exercise, we try, and then we have the feeling of pain, and we scare, and then we withdraw again. But actually that makes the condition become worse and worse. Why? Because when we get pain, it have 3 different components get involved in that. As you see, we have the joint, the cartilage at the top of the bone. So in this joint, to connect 2 joints together, we have a tendon, and around that we have a muscle. So between the muscle layer, we have the blood vessel, we have a lymphatic system, and then we have the energy channel. But 3 major systems get involved in the pain in this joint. For example, as you know, our muscle, it has many different layers, like a stack of paper, right? When you have a stack of paper and you not use it oftenly for a while, when you take it out, you see this kind of, you see the feeling of it gets stick together, right? So when we use that notebook or that stack of paper oftenly, it gets looser and easy to separate one layer to the other layer. The same thing with our muscle. If we not exercise oftenly, all of the muscle layer, it will stick together, because the byproduct of our body, of the metabolism process, it makes it become stickier. So when we exercise, we feel pain. And then the tendon is like the rubber band to hold two joints together. So if we not exercise, that tendon or that rubber band, it becomes stiffer and it becomes harder. If we have a rubber band, we keep in the warm temperature and we use it gently, oftenly. That rubber band becomes more flexible and the lifespan becomes longer. But if we keep that rubber band in the raw, in a cool place, and we not touch that, we not use that oftenly, that rubber band becomes more stiffer, harder, and it's easy to be broken. It's the same thing as our tendon. When we not exercise oftenly, the body temperature or the blood not flow to that area, so the temperature in that area becomes lower. The tendon becomes stiffer and harder, not flexible anymore. So when we move, we feel pain. Also, it have a joint fluid in every single joint, and the joint fluid, it have many different functions. One of that, like lubrication, and secondly, it will absorb and it helps to reduce the vibration or the stretch force when we move. So when we not exercise or we not moving oftenly, that fluid become drier, because one of the body feature we learned this morning, when we get cut, our body know how to heal. If we have the two muscles get close together, that's why when we have the small cut, we don't need to go to the doctor, to the hospital to sew it. But when we have a deep cut and a wide cut, we need to have someone to sew it, make the muscle close together. When we have a broken bone, if we leave it there, and on the piece of broken bone we put close together, automatically, okay, it will heal. Right? So when we exercise our body, consider this is a moving joint. It's not a bone. But when we not exercise, our body will recognize this as a dead bone or broken bone, because the two ends of this bone in the cartilage. So with the mechanism of bone next to bone, it will make solid, or it will connect together. So all of the calcium, the mineral, magnesium in the food will be caught and collect to that spot. The same thing to any joint in our spinal cord, in our small joint, on our grip, whatever, wherever. So all the mineral, calcium, magnesium, it will be collect and deposit there. So when all that deposit, it will push the joint fluid away, and it makes our joint become stiffer, harder to move. So that's why when we exercise after not moving for a while, we will feel pain, terrible pain, not only because of all the deposit in that joint, but because the tendon the muscle are get stiffer, harder to move. And then if we worry, we scare of pain, and we not exercise, we not move, the condition become worse. By understand the mechanism, we increase the force, increase the duration slowly, day after day. We will eradicate, because when the joint move, it will erode the deposit of calcium, magnesium on that cartilage, on that joint. So it makes the range of movement become wider, and by movement it makes the muscle slide on each other. It will eliminate all the deposit in between the muscle, and also it makes the blood vessel more flexible, and more blood will flow to the area. When the blood can flow evenly to this area, it not only supplies the oxygen, the nutrition, it helps to carry away the byproduct, the toxin. And when the blood flows to this area, it will carry the temperature to that area, make the tendon become warmer, become more flexible. You see? And also by movement, it creates the force to extract the fluid in our body to that joint and become joint fluid. And it do its job like lubrication on the joint, and then reduce the stressful or the vibration when we move. That's why we need to exercise as often as possible, especially for people already have the joint and tendon disorder. We have to do actually more often than the regular people. And not only the knee, the hip, or the wrist, we usually have the problem with our spinal cord. Because most of the Westerner, when we sit, we cannot sit down on the floor. That is, we had a habit from when we were young. Secondly, when we sit on the chair, we only lean in the back. And most of the time, we sit on the sofa, on the couch. Okay, and you know the mattress is not really good, and then we not sit straight. We sit like that, and you see our spinal cord. It's very, very diligent, very sensible. If any position is incorrect, the disc, it will be pressure unevenly. Add on that condition, we eat and we drink too much sugar, too much negative, too much zinc stuff. It makes it expand and the pressure becomes higher. So just a little bit uneven pressure add on with the expansion of the disc, the nerve, and then it will pop out what we call hernia in our GI tract and in the spinal cord. And also the joint of the cartilage, the bone of our spinal cord, it's very close to each other. It's very tiny. So the ability of calcium, magnesium, or any mineral to deposit on that is very deficient, very minimal. Just a little bit of deposit will obstruct the flow of air, of heat, and the blood in our spinal cord already. That's why we usually have the problem, the spinal disorder in Westerner. And if we not know to correct that, we not exercise correctly, the condition it never be changed. And when we get older, this become less flexible, the bone become harder, and the nerve become more duller, less sensible. So when it gets stuck, we don't know until the degree is too much, it's severe, and we discover sometimes it's too late. It's harder to correct. That's why we need to exercise oftenly. And then the warm-up exercise this morning, when we twist, we swing, and we bend down, it will help not only to clear up on the deposit along the spinal cord, on the joint, cartilage, and also to help the key move faster, evenly. So that is something we need to keep in mind. Okay, we go to a little bit the concept of yin and yang. This one is relative, it's not absolute, depend on the system of comparison.